Once a cop, let it knock, yeah. I for one thing we should celebrate redemption instead of condemning it. Corey Pegues, stop talking truth, bruh. Check it out. Once a cop.
Pull up a seat. You're now in Corey's Corner, where right conversations matter. I'm your host, Corey Pegues, and I always keep it right, not real. Today's guest is Councilmember Ty Hankerson, the representative for New York City Council District 28, affectionately known as the Great 28, serving the communities of South Jamaica, South Richmond Hill, Rochdale Village, and South Ozone Park. A proud son of Southeastern Queens, Ty's journey is rooted in service. From his early days with the 106 Precinct Law Enforcement Explorers program, to leading youth programs with the Southern Queens Park Association, to serving as community outreach director and later district chief of staff, to then Council Speaker Adrian Adams. He has spent his career bringing people together and fighting for the resources his community deserves. During one of our nation's most challenging moments, he organized a cold black protest in Southeast Queens, demonstrating a commitment to unity, justice, and community engagement. Today, as a member of New York City's council, he's focused on improving quality of life by supporting youth, seniors, public safety, affordability, and stronger city services. Today, we'll talk about his journey, his vision for Southeast Queens, and the challenges of leading one of New York City's most diverse communities. Please join me in welcoming Councilmember Ty Hankerson to Corey's Corner. Thanks for coming, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Been waiting for you to pop in, man. We had to wait for you to win the election.
Yeah.
You've been running for about a year hard.
Yeah.
And very proud of you. Very proud that, you got the seat, man. It was yours. Your name was written all over it. Today's episode of Corey's Corner is brought to you by Vodka. Vodka is the world's first premium blend of vodka and tequila into one smooth, unforgettable spirit. Whether you're celebrating success or unwinding after a long week, choose the spirit that's refined in the game. Visit vodka.net for more. Shout out to Corrupt Mob MC, a brotherhood built on loyalty, respect, and community. More than just a motorcycle club. Respect the mob. So Ty, council member, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
So, for the people meeting you for the first time, the listeners and the viewers, who is Ty Hankerson beyond the title of New York City Council member?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, Corey, thank you for having me on your show. Your career path and your journey has not just been insightful, but inspiring for many, especially black young men. And so I appreciate you for having me. So thank you. Ty Hankerson, outside of the city council, I am a kid from Southeast Queens, born and raised here, particularly in my district. Every neighborhood in my district I lived in. We moved a couple times.
Nice.
But this is home. And so everything that I do reflects that. I'm also, really, really rooted and deep in my faith. That is what really determines the trajectory that I go on.
What church you go to?
So I go to a church called Excelling Church.
Okay. Is it in a district?
It is. So it was in the district.
Okay.
We moved to Francis Lewis Boulevard in Jamaica, so then I was right outside the district.
Yeah, right outside. What schools did you go to?
So I went to PS 155 in South Ozone Park.
Okay.
Then MS 72 in Rochdale Village.
Yes.
And then High School for Law Enforcement and Public Safety in South Jamaica.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I went to Andrew Jackson. We hickories, baby.
Well, I mean,
we owe.
When you went to high school, my high school didn't exist.
It did not.
That's no shots.
It did not. No, it did not exist. All right, I give you that. We're proud of you that you. And what colleges did you go to?
So I went to St. John's University, but that's an interesting story because I had to leave St. John's.
Mm-hmm. I got my master's from St. John's, so
wow.
I'm a Redmond for life.
Yeah. I mean, I still claim St. John's, even though I kind of feel like they did me a little dirty, but it's all good. It's all good. I think I turned out okay.
Yeah, you did well.
3 years there.
Nice. Okay. So you was born at South Ozone Park and raised throughout what is now the district you represent. What are some of your favorite childhood memories growing up in Southeast Queens?
Oh, man. So my great-grandparents migrated here from South Carolina. Okay. My great-grandfather and my great grandmother. They lived in Aiken, South Carolina.
Okay.
Legend tells it that they moved here because my great grandfather got into it with a racist white man, and I don't know if he slapped the man or what, but he wasn't going to just take being disrespected.
Right.
And he responded, but he also was not a dumb man. They
Right.
moved that night and never went back.
never
And
went
so
back, yeah.
they came here to New York, went to Brooklyn first, then purchased their home in South Ozone Park. And that's kind of where my childhood, a lot of my childhood was spent on that street, 131st Street. Fondest memory was all the kids on the block. That's one thing about Queens, particularly Southeast Queens, is that everybody knew each other, and so growing up with all the other kids, that's something I'll never forget.
Right. Yeah, I remember. I'm from Murdoch 198, so
Okay.
they call it, I guess they call it the North Side, and I remember like playing Skelly, hopscotch. I knew the Williamses, I knew the Rivers. Everybody knew. Today it's just different, Ty.
Very different.
People don't know families. I live in Long Island now. I know left, right, front. I gotta know them. They garbage. When I'm going away, I say, yo, pick my mail up.
Yeah.
But growing up, you knew the whole block.
Whole block. And not only did you know the block, but you were able to be corrected by the block. I remember one time
Exactly.
I had a little bike, and I had to be maybe 8 years old, and so I was told you can only ride on the sidewalk,
Right.
But I wanted to see what it felt like to ride in the street. So I went to the corner of the block, and I put my front tire in the street. Mr. Pittman, older guy, lived in the middle of the block, and I don't know how he saw me. He said, "Get that damn tire out the street," And I mean, it shook me to my core. I never went to the street again. So. But that is the community that we had, and so
we grew up on.
that's one of the goals that I have as a council member is trying to bring that back. Obviously, in a new way. We got social media now. It's a lot of other factors. We have a more diverse community now. So it's working through these different factions to unify.
Yeah. Today, Mr. Pittman screamed he might get shot or
This
stabbed
is-
or his window busted because it's just different now.
Yeah.
So your bio credits your faith, your mother, your grandmother, and your community for shaping your values. Which lessons from your upbringing still guide your decisions today?
Trust God in all that you do. Lean not into your own understanding, but acknowledge him in all your ways, and he shall direct your paths.
Man, we always got these preachers. We got Yo D.
What?
Yo D, we got these street preachers. We got all these street corner preachers coming on the show, man. We might have to have a Corey's Corner sermon one day. I love it. No, that's beautiful. I love it that you faith-based Christian values. I love it, man. Especially being a younger man, sometimes, generation before me, even my generation, I was in Sunday school, 11 o'clock, 7 o'clock, Bible study and all that. My kids don't witness none of that. And probably the generation after that, they church probably going to be defunct soon. And people just like looking at the YouTube videos and stuff.
Yeah, it's transforming.
So I really applaud you for that. If someone from your neighborhood described the young Ty Hankerson before politics, what would they say you were like?
Preacher boy.
Preacher boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's funny. I think I'm a lot. I might be wrong, but I think I'm a lot cooler than I was
When you was
when I
younger?
was younger. A lot of people is the opposite. It's usually flip flop.
Right.
For me, it was a little different. You know what? I think my mother prayed a prayer.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Mama Hankerson was praying for you all along. Trust me.
Because I was just a little different. And I never had a problem necessarily making friends or whatnot, but I don't know. I was always drawn to like church and community stuff. There was some, I don't say negative downsides, but there were some, I guess you could say downsides to that, which was I didn't quite always do what my friends. I was a late bloomer, so I didn't quite always do what my friends did. You know, they made.
You was a leader.
I guess you could.
You
say
had
that.
your own path, and I mean, look at you now. I mean, you're a leader amongst leader, a man amongst men. Appreciate that. Before becoming an elected official, you worked in a nonprofit youth program, and then later served in the councilwoman. Newly elected Lieutenant Governor of New York State, Adrian Adams' office. Looking back, what experience best prepared you for elected office? Now, you worked, before we was doing a little talking in the green room.
Yeah.
You worked for Leroy Comrie, and you worked for Adrian Adams. I mean, that's like Leroy Comrie, who was one of the guests on Corey's Corner, and he was, when I was like 13 years old, I think he was in a city council, or I don't know, but he's been in a long time. He's probably a mentor to Adrian Adams, and you worked for both of them.
Yeah,
how was that?
So Senator Comrie, you know, he was one of the first to endorse Adrian Adams when she ran for mayor. And so, you know, I think that speaks to that support and relationship there. But I volunteered with his campaign when I was 19 years old. My job for the time that I was there, I was driving him around, which was one of the best experiences of my life because I learned the value of being visible in the community. One thing about Senator Comrie is everybody knows him. Everybody. And part of the reason of that is one, it speaks to the constituent services that he does, but he shows up everywhere. And I took that from him. I remember driving to see a block party. Oh, pull the car over. We getting out. Oh, we getting out? Okay, we getting out. You know, and so I kind of have that mindset. And then, you know, later on, I went to go work for, at the time, Councilwoman Adrian Adams, who was the first woman elected to District 28 and then became the first black speaker. She is a trailblazer. And what I learned from her is upholding the standard. She is a woman of great poise and elegance. And so all the time I'm reminded from my time serving her to ensure that when you are operating on behalf of the people, you do it with excellence. Excellence is the standard. And so I try to bridge those two experiences together. And we'll see how it turns out. I'm only 7 months in, so we'll see.
Nah, you're going to do fine, man. Listen, you couldn't ask for two better mentors to have what you could call 24 hours. And I need you to call the former speaker and tell her, you need to get on Corey's Corner. Corey's acting. You got to get on, okay?
I'll call her.
Yes.
She don't take orders from me, though.
A little suggestion. I'll elbow when I see her again. I'll just give her a little elbow. Now, you help build coalitions between civic groups, clergy, small businesses, and city agencies. What did that experience teach you about how government really works behind the scenes?
Yeah, that government can't work if people aren't working together. One of, I think, the faults that we have had in New York City, and this is not towards any particular leader, I think this is just decades of city work, is that agencies often don't talk to each other unless they really, really have to, or there's somebody being that middle person saying, hey, I need y'all to come to the table. And so for us, there's a lot of issues. So I'll give you one example. When I was Chief of Staff to Speaker Adams, South Road, now known as Tuskegee Airmen Way.
Oh, really? I didn't know they renamed that.
Yeah, Councilmember Reuben Wills renamed it when he was in office.
My man Reuben.
Yeah. He renamed it. And, you know, and I think that was part of the start of the transformation of South Road. It is not where it needs to be as of yet. And so I think for each council member, it's building upon the work of the last. So we put together a coalition, agencies, you know, sanitation, NYPD, HRA, Department of Health, civic leaders, community folks. And, you know, I said, we're going to tackle South Road because we got to do it together. Here's where the problem came in. And again, I'm not calling out any particular administration, but at the time, the mayoral administration of that time had introduced a form that local electeds had to fill out in order to talk to the administration. It was a 7-page form. And then you had to wait weeks for them to get back to you to say, hey, we'll have this conversation. It was ridiculous. It slowed everything down. the coalition got disbanded because of that. Because the agency said, hey, we can't come out there until you submit the form, and then we got to review it. It takes weeks. When people need services, we don't have time to wait for that. And so for me, it showed how government can both be effective and defective at the same time. We were effective where, you know, we were able to bring the coalition together, but then government became defective when, you know, the administration at the time said, hey, you got to do this. They put red tape in front of us. People are tired of red tape.
Well, let me tell you, I want to applaud you. I watched you 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, in South Queens. We had that big rainstorm. Yeah. And you was going live. I love social media. You was going live, like giving updates. Like I just reached out to DEP, but I don't know if I'm saying all the agencies, but you was on it live. Like I said, damn, look at Ty. You right on top of it, right? You was getting that information out to the people. You was telling people who to call. You was telling people, we just got all this ice, you know, for your frozen food and everything. I wasn't seeing that in other districts. I'm on social media. It's part of my life all day, every day. You was on it, so I want to applaud you about that. Give you your flowers now.
I appreciate that.
I was watching and saying, "Damn, I'm rooting." You was in it.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
That's the job.
Yeah. Now you were involved in the 106 Precinct Law Enforcement Explorers as a young person.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You know, my producers be researching. How did that experience shape your views on policing and public safety?
Yeah, so I mean that played a huge role in who I am now. Actually, I thought I was going to become a cop.
Okay.
And that ties into my St. John's story. So I did 8 years as an explorer.
8 years?
8 years.
Wow. What age you started? 13.
Okay. 13, and I ended as the captain for that Explorer post. Was at the 106 under, at the time, Officer Brenda Reddick, and then Officer Cataldi after that. But served in that capacity. Went to high school for law enforcement. You know, was at St. John's at one point studying criminal justice, and then I applied to be a cadet. And went through the process. Went through the psych exam, the JST, everything. Right. The day before I was supposed to be sworn into the academy, I got a phone call from my investigator. And, you know, she said, I got to put the sergeant on the phone. So I'm thinking, oh, something serious. Right. Sergeant gets on the phone. I remember him saying, you know, son, I'm sorry, you can't come in. So I'm like, did I do something? And he said, no, it's not you. And he said, unfortunately, because of one of the records of one of your immediate family members, you know, we can't continue the process unless you move out of your family's home. Now I'm 19 years old. Where am I going? Right. And so it ended that journey or that dream at the time of becoming a cop. Right. Everything was building up to that.
You can't live with convicted felons.
Right. And so, you know, how it affected St. John's was the Cadet Corps was going to pay for my final 2 years. So when NYPD gave me that call and said it's not going to happen, St. John's subsequently gave me a call and said, hey, you ain't got enough money. Right. You got to go. Right. And that ended both of those at the same time. One of the worst years of my life. But that is what inspired me to get involved more heavily in my community. And I said, hey, if I can't learn in the classroom or if I can't serve in that other capacity, I'm going to find another way to do it. Right. And that's what I did.
Oh, man. I love that. And you know, that whole rule, obviously, you know, I was an NYPD executive for years. And I never understood that. Like, if my mother or father or brother killed somebody, what that got to do with me? Like, I just lived there.
That ain't kill nobody.
Right? I ain't got nothing to do with it. I could understand if the rule was, like, tomorrow they went and killed somebody, you got to move. But if it was something, so convicted felon for the people, it could be bank fraud. It don't have to be murder, rape, robbery, arson. It could just be a bad check. It could just, and they say, like, you can't. I remember being investigated before. Internal Affairs called me down. Called me, slapped the picture on the table, and said, you know this guy? I said, yeah, that's my man Ronald. Said, he had your business card. I said, all right. So I'm like, y'all speak, you know his sister's a cop, right? You tell her he can't go to Thanksgiving dinner with her? Like, why y'all bring me down here for this bullshit?
Right.
I gave out 1,000 business cards. Yeah, but that's my man. But I'm not hanging out with him. He ain't coming to my house. But if I see my friends in the street, I'm not going to walk away because I'm a cop. But, well, you're a city council member now, so you have the power to change some things, okay?
Yeah.
You have power to change some things.
And we will.
Now, yes, exactly. Now, during one of the most emotional times in America in the recent history, you organized a cold black protest following the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Yeah. What motivated you to step into that leadership?
My pastor, Pastor Solomon. Yeah, Pastor Jarrell Solomon of Excelling Church. He called me, and it was very weird because it was Friday that he called me, Friday night, and he said, I had a vision. I said, okay, well, it's a vision.
Right.
Yeah. He said, we're going to do a protest on Sunday. Now, Sunday was, in the Christian faith, Pentecost Sunday, which is when we celebrate the fact that the Holy Spirit came down, sat upon them, they spoke in other tongues. They spoke the language of those around them, right? And so he said, we're going to do a protest on Sunday. I said, okay, that's cool. All right. He said, but you're going to put it together. Oh, that's why you called me. Right? and so, I was like, all right, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Right.
I remember, organizing. The pastor had put together a flyer saying, "Hey, this is what we're doing because we have to." The church had to be vocal about what was happening. We can't just sit by and have church as usual, or else how can you call yourself the church? And so I remember getting a phone call from the 103 at the time, and they said, "We heard. I don't know how they heard, but they said we heard that you're doing a protest." I said, "Yeah, me and my church, we are." They said, "How many people?" I said, it's going to be Sunday. Today's Friday night, 20 people.
Right.
Man, hundreds of people showed up on Jamaica Avenue. I don't know where they came from.
The word went out.
The word went out somehow. And what made it memorable, because it picked up a lot of we weren't doing it for media coverage or anything like that. But it picked up a lot of media coverage because midway through, we took a knee. And it was the first time that NYPD took a knee as well, and they took a knee with us.
Okay.
And so that moment showed me something. It showed that if we are going to make progress in this country, it's going to take those of us on the outside and the inside to have to work together to rebuild what the structure is. Because if not, then we'll be fighting against each other at all moments.
Exactly.
And so that is where that came from. But it also taught me this as that scripture, because it was Pentecost Sunday, which I think everything's symbolic. In the scripture, they began to speak in other tongues, and people understood them in their language. In that moment, we spoke the language of the community.
Right.
And at that moment, the community was hurting. And so we spoke that, and we spoke courage and faith to them to say, hey, we will get through this, but we have some work to do.
Looking back at that protest, is there anything that you would do differently? Okay.
Yes. At the end of the protest, somebody had said, hey, I want to speak. I can't remember who the person was. Don't to this day. They said, hey, I want to speak. And I remember my pastor saying to me, hey, this person wants to speak. And I was like, I don't know, but, we had a good day. We got to the end. It was a peaceful protest.
Right.
We made our point, but it was a peaceful protest. Man, I don't know who this person was. They got up to speak, and they tried to turn it into a riot.
Right.
They got into the faces of the cops. They was, some other guy was like, what business we burning down? And so, yes, there is something I would change. Never give up the mic when it's given to you in a moment.
That's right. Never. And how do you respond to people who believe you can't support law enforcement while also demanding police accountability?
I would say we coexist in the world together. I remember being asked one day, do you support... You gonna get me in trouble.
This Corey's corner. We keep it right now real over here.
I remember, somebody asking me if I support abolishing the police. And my response was simply this: if we lived in a world where there were no crime, there was, no violence, absolutely, because we wouldn't need it.
Right.
But because we don't live in such a world,
Exactly.
I do believe that we have to have some type of law enforcement, but we also have to have accountability to law enforcement.
Of course.
It cannot be anarchy within the department. It has to be accountability, but also having social aspects, because I believe crime prevention happens when you are providing resources to the community. So that is, I think there has to be a bridging of the gap, and we have to be willing to come to the table and have conversations about it.
You ain't get in trouble with that. That's exactly how I would have answered. I don't know if it would have been so as eloquent as you, but I would have answered it the same way. Like it's like the whole defund police, right? I actually hate the person that came up with that term, because people, when you say defund the police, people think you're taking all the money from the police, but that's not it. That wasn't what they was trying to say. They're just trying to say, hey, there's a lot of work. The biggest budget in every municipality in America is the police budget. So, like, what we've been doing since Reagan, we've been doing the war on drugs. It don't work. We're just locking people up. They're not getting no treatment. The only way you can deal with the drug epidemic is counseling, treatment, and education.
That's right.
You can't lock your way up out of that.
Absolutely.
So, like when they say defund the police, people say, hey, all right, so all this money in the war on drugs, let's like shift. Let's shift this over here. Armored tanks when what was his name? The kid that got killed down south with his mother, Trayvon Martin, and they had tanks. Like, why we got tanks on the streets of the country? It's not all right. So, listen, I totally agree with what you say. We need to have accountability, and we also need law and order. Absolutely, we need that. Now, looking back today, do you believe New York City has made meaningful progress in police-community relations, or do we still got a long way to go?
I think that New York City has made progress. I have to commend the current mayor for instituting the Office of Community Safety. Obviously, that still has to be fully built out and developed, but I think that it is a step in the right direction, especially because you are including voices that aren't traditional law enforcement, but other forms of mediation and other forms of just thought process into the conversation. I think that we have made progress. Do we have a long way to go? Absolutely. I think it's the little things that matter. I still don't like the fact that when I walk into a precinct and I have to deal with the desk sergeant, I'm always met with an attitude until they figure out, oh, that's the councilman, right? That happened to me recently.
Right.
I went. It wasn't even at the precinct. It was in my own district. Right. Something happened. I had a suit on. Now, even if I didn't have a suit on,
right,
I went to the sergeant that was there and said, hey, what happened here? And he gave me a little smug look and was like, oh, we're doing police work. And kind of brushed me off. Right. But then a boss was there, and I went to them. He happened to recognize me. And then the sergeant came back and said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know who you were. You shouldn't have to know who I am to respect me. And so when we talk about police reform, I think it's even down to the smallest things of respect.
Yeah, the NYPD has on their cars CPR, courteism, professionalism, and respect. Live by it and own it. Yeah. Okay, council member, we're at the segment of Corey's Corner called the Spitfire Round. 10 rapid fire questions. You're going to be yes or no answers, or you're going to pick one word. Try not to expand too much. It's a fun game. This is a fun part. No pressure. Nervous. This is a fun part. You ready?
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Knicks or Nets?
Knicks.
Favorite restaurant in Queens? Don't get yourself in trouble now.
The Door.
Like the Door. Favorite place in District 28?
Compass Cafe.
3 words that describe your leadership style.
People, service, love.
Who inspires you the most?
My mother.
What's one book everyone should read? Hint, hint.
Once a Cop.
Favorite gospel or motivational song?
Oh, turning around for me. It won't always be like this. Sooner or later, it's going to turn in my favor.
Okay. If the city gave you $10 million tomorrow, for one project in District 28, where would you spend it?
I'm building a community center in Southside because we don't have one, and we've been asking for it for 30 years. And so that is where I would spend it. Hint, hint.
Hello, Mr. Mandami. Hello. Finish this sentence. I think I asked Natasha this question. The future of Southeast Queens is...
It's bright. It's bright.
Okay. Thank you for participating in the Spitfire round. Okay. Corey's Corner is powered by Story to Tell Productions. If you're serious about starting a podcast or taking your production to the next level, this is the team you need. Reach out to Story to Tell Productions and get it done the right way.
Hi, I'm Assemblymember Clive Vanell, and you got to check out Corey's Corner on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Before we move forward, let me take you somewhere for a second. Everything we talk about on the show, power, accountability, loyalty, redemption, it's not just a conversation for me. I've lived it, I earned it, I survived it. I've seen both sides of the system. I've walked the street, I've worn a badge. I've carried the weight of decisions that changed people's lives. That's why I wrote Once a Cop. It's not just a book, it's the raw, unfiltered truth about the journey from the corners of streets of Queens, New York, to the high-glass hallways of One Police Plaza, which is the NYPD headquarters. The pressure, the politics, the purpose, the course. And the documentary, A Cops and Robbers Story, pulls the curtain back even further. No headlines, no sound bites. Just a human story behind a uniform, because behind every badge is a man, behind every rank is a story, and behind every story is a choice. Now a word from our sponsors.
This is not your average vodka. This is Vodkila, a decade of cultured excellence. The best of both worlds, the true taste of victory. A delicious dyad spirit, the world's finest blend of vodka and tequila. Vodkila, the perfect blend. From rooftop parties to quiet moments with friends, Vodkila brings the flavor, the fire, and the unforgettable. So pour it, share it, live it. Vodkila. Visit vodkila.net and order yours today.
You often say your goal is simple. Government should work for everyone. Where do you think city government succeeds, and where is it still failing the residents of District 28?
I'm gonna answer backwards if that's okay. I think it's still failing in making sure that there's access. So it's not that, one thing I've learned is that not that resources don't exist, is that most folks don't have access to the resources. And so I believe that government has to do much better at providing access, ensuring that folks have a way to get to those resources. I think government is doing a good job right now at coming up with new ways. And when I say government, I'm just speaking for city government. I'm not talking about state or federal, because then there's a lot of things I can talk about. But I think right now city government is doing a good job at finding new ways. We have a new mayor. Obviously, there are several new council members. So we're just finding new ways to do things.
Pushback. In Corey's Corner, you always get pushback. So you said they're failing with giving people access. How are you as a councilman ensuring that people know how to get the access? Because if people don't know how to get it, they're never going to be able to get it.
Yeah. Accessibility, that's one. So one of the things that I make it my priority is to be accessible, where folks, you can find me.
Yeah, you everywhere.
I try to show
you
up
everywhere. I promise you, he's everywhere.
Literally. But not only that, but finding mediums to get information out. And so right now, social media is the thing. I think historically, we used to do newsletters and stuff, and that still works. It still works. But let's think about it. Our newsletter may reach a couple thousand people. Social media will reach several thousands of people.
All right. So when I was a commander, I think 6-7 precincts. I had like 200,000 residents. This is 2008. I was doing newsletters, electronic newsletters. Every meeting I went to, I got people emails. Forget the dog and pony mailman dropping off letters. I had everybody emailing. Every month I did Corey's Corner, a newsletter out to everybody. So it was so accessible. People just pressed the button and they got the newsletter.
Absolutely.
And I was getting so much feedback. I got this car in front of my house. 3 months. There's a prostitute over here on East 45th Street.
Yeah.
But, you know, it gave me the information about my district. Like, oh, okay, these are the things. I'll be like, yo, Ty, I need you to get on this. Yo, Corey, yo, Dwayne, I need you to get on this. So the dog and pony horse carrying the letter, they ain't opening that. No. But electronic newsletters, I think they still work.
I mean, they're not, to use the word you used earlier, they're not defunct, but one of the challenges I think right now from, you know, that time to where we are is that folks don't read. You know, and it's not that they can't read, it's just that because there's so much going on, folks don't have time. Right. And so if it's not in my scroll,
right,
I ain't gonna see it. And so it may come to my email, but I'll open it or I'll look real quick. Too many words. Boom.
Right.
Done.
Yeah.
I need something that's gonna catch me in 10 seconds. We just put out a video about a win that we had for Rochdale Village. And in the first 20 seconds of that, we stated what we did.
You got to do it
That
quick.
thing blew up quick.
Oh, no. You know the shorts. It's on YouTube. And
Yep.
It's all about the shorts. You got, like, bam, you got to get, like, this interview we have now is going to be an hour or so. You know, we're going to put this interview out on Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm putting out shorts. 1 minute shorts of stuff you saying right now to hit them. Because the shorts, then they're going to go, oh, I got to go back to watch the full video.
Yep.
That's, cause nobody sit down and watch for an hour. It's not you ain't Charleston White. Who I love. That guy. 'Cause you never know what he's gonna say. He's gonna say the craziest thing. Now, your district includes South Jamaica, South Richmond Hill, Rochdale Village, and South Ozone Park, communities with different needs. How do you balance competing priorities while making sure everyone feels represented?
Making sure everybody has a voice. You know, one of the concerns that I heard while I was campaigning, and I don't think that this was an indictment on anybody that's held this seat or held this office. There's been 5 council people to hold this office. I'm the 5th. And the challenge that I heard, particularly from the west side of the district, which is more Indo-Caribbean and South Asian, is that they felt that in certain decisions their voice wasn't heard or even uplifted. I have to give, you know, Speaker Adams her flowers, you know, because she really, I think, amplified voices on the west side of the district. She is the one that renamed the street Little Guyana, you know, Trinidad and Tobago Way. She did a lot of that. And so I kind of built on that foundation. And so we opened up in the final months of her term and going into my term, an office on the west side of the district. So the east side is primarily African American and Black Caribbean, and so it's merging the two. It's one of the most diverse districts in the city.
Right.
It's merging the two together to show this that one, we're not really different.
Right.
We're really all the same. We may have different ways of doing things, and so I wanted to make sure that my staff was also reflective of that. And so my staff is very diverse. But my main goal, and even this Saturday, we're having the free, well, by the time this airs, it'll happen, but the Freedom Block Party, which is bringing different cultures together, bringing city resources to be present there, and also making some big announcements of some work that we accomplished for the district.
Now, residents across New York City complain about affordability, sanitation, illegal dumping, and quality of life issues in city services. Which issues keep you up at night, and what are you doing about it?
Several issues keep me up at night, but I will say this: quality of life is top of mind. That was the main concern that I heard across the district, no matter the neighborhood, when we were running. This quality of life. Folks don't want to look out their window and see bags and bags of trash or somebody's toilet sitting on the corner. Don't want to see that. And so I have made it my priority to address the quality of life concerns of District 28. I'm happy to say that in this budget, my first budget, I'm allocating over $400,000 solely to quality of life. We're making that announcement in the coming days. $100,000 is going to sanitation for our own garbage truck. Dedicated to District 28 alone. That'll come around right before the weekend starts and right after the weekend is over. $200,000 to 2 different groups that will provide supplemental cleaning services. They hire formerly unhoused individuals, give them jobs, and hey, they clean up our business corridors. I'm happy to announce that working with Mayor Mamdani's team, we for the first time have baselined over $1 million in the city budget for street sweeping services, starting right now at Liberty Avenue, which hasn't had street sweeping services in over 10 years.
Wow.
So quality of life is my focus right now.
Okay, I love it. Every elected official promises cleaner streets, safer neighborhoods, and better city services. A year from now, what measurable results should residents use to judge whether you've been successful?
The residents are the measure. They will tell you, and I'm glad right now we have been getting a lot of good feedback from residents about our services that we provide, quality of life. It's improving. It's only been 7 months, but it's improving. I'm happy now that this budget is passed, you'll see a lot of the things that we wanted to implement go into play. But I say this, and you probably never hear a politician say this. If you don't see the services improve while my first term in office, do not reelect me. That means I'm not doing my job. I don't deserve it.
District 28, you hear it, Councilman. He talking that shit on course. I love it. You didn't just win your race now. Let's just be clear. You won after 5 rounds of ranked choice voting. What did that process teach you about earning trust beyond your own supporters, and did it change the way you campaign?
So I have a love-hate relationship. I have a love-hate relationship with ranked choice voting.
Me too.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how Eric Adams got the damn nod. But ain't no love for Eric on this show. Y'all know that, right?
Oh,
okay.
man. I knew that before I got here.
That's my brother, but we just don't agree.
And I get that. And that's the beauty of America.
Exactly.
For me, with ranked choice voting, if it weren't there, I would have won flat out.
Right.
The first go round.
Right.
We had a sizable gap in our votes. But we went through the process. What it did teach me, though, one thing ranked choice voting makes all candidates do is talk to groups of people that you may have not considered talking to before, and you should consider talking to everybody when you're running for office.
Exactly.
That's the honest truth. But it does become difficult when you're running because you become so laser focused,
right?
And you got so much being thrown at you. So it's a reminder to people who are running for office. Now you got to talk to everybody.
Yeah,
and so for some folks that didn't make me their number 1, they may have made me their number 2, maybe even their number 3.
Right.
But I mean, the way it went, I think I was a lot of folks number 1 and number 2, and that helps. But it reminds the candidate, you are here to serve and talk to everybody. And so that's also how I govern.
Okay, you work for one of the most influential city council speakers in the history of New York. How do you honor Adrian Adams' legacy while making sure people know Ty Hankerson isn't simply continuing someone else's agenda?
I give her credit, where it is due. A lot of my job is made slightly easy because I don't have to do necessarily a cleanup work. I am doing a building upon type of a continuation.
Yes.
And so before she left office, she dropped millions of dollars in our district. And what pains me though.
And you was part of that.
I was part of that.
Let's be clear that you was part of it.
Absolutely.
The boss always gets the credit.
Absolutely.
We do know that.
Yes.
But you played a part.
Yeah. But she dropped millions of dollars in our district, and what pains me is I think we could have did a better job at advertising that. One thing, and I will say this about the former speaker and the next lieutenant governor, she's a very humble woman, and I learned a lot from her. And so even in my own, I guess, humble approach as well, I try not to make things about me. But what I have learned while running for office is I had to explain to a lot of folks the work that we did in her office, because we weren't saying, hey, look at what we did. We would just do the work. Right. And people would think, oh, that just got done. Yeah. It's like, no, we did that. And so I'm trying to do a better job now as an elected at advertising. No, we did that. And so I, again, giving her credit, my job is made easy because she has dropped a lot of money in a district. And so I am just building upon it. Okay, that $1 million went there. Let's do this, right? You know, so.
Okay, now, before becoming a city council member, you were often holding government accountable. Now you are the government. Has that changed your perspective? And what's one promise you've realized is much harder to keep than you expected?
It has changed my perspective slightly. You know, before and even while I was working in government, it wasn't until I got to higher level staffing, you know, that I realized, okay, it's not that we don't want to do this, but there are so many roadblocks.
It's a lot of layers.
You got to tear through so much stuff to get stuff done sometime. And so on the outside, you don't see what an elected official may be negotiating or navigating through to try and get a successful or a success or a win in their district or in their community. And it's easy to say, you ain't do nothing. You ain't show up. You wasn't there. Blah, 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 blah. You not fighting for us. You just like the rest of them. I'm just saying all the stuff that I've heard.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say that until you are the one sitting behind that desk and you realize, okay, oh yeah, I want to do this. And then you get a letter from a city agency or from legal saying, oh no, you can't do that.
Right.
All right. And so it is difficult. That is how I will say my perspective has shifted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, politicians and residents don't judge politicians by press releases. When. We did this, they judge them by whether potholes get fixed, garbage gets picked up, and they feel safe walking home. What's been the biggest reality check for you since you took office?
Biggest reality check for me was not everybody is going to like you. Everybody's going to like you.
Say that again.
You know, and I have this thing where I really, really try to make everybody feel comfortable and make everybody feel good. And even in that, people will still get in your face like, I was being nice. I opened the door for you. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
You can't win everybody over.
You can't win everybody over. And so that has been the biggest reality check for me because it's now allowing me as a young man, even in my personal life, to accept this, that you can't make everybody happy.
Oh, so you just saw a little young Ty, pretty boy Hankerson with the pretty smile and the big resume was going to walk through the door and everybody's going to treat you good?
I thought they were.
Nah, bro.
Nope.
Listen, I always say, some people disagree with me, but like wherever I went as a boss, I had the mindset when I walked in the door, nobody liked me. I had to win them over. And it wasn't about me personally. People don't like change.
Yeah.
People don't like new. You know that. So you have to like kind of, so like whenever I took over positions, I always like told people like, there's a 90-day window. Like, because everybody think they're getting ready to lose their job. Like, oh, you're going to move me? I said, no, I got 90 days. If I call you in my office after 90 days, you might have a problem. If I don't, then you good. So, listen, it is what it is. Everybody don't like Trump. Everybody didn't like Obama. Everybody didn't like Biden. Everybody didn't like Adrian. So, as long as the majority like you and they keep electing you,
Yeah.
you good, bro. Don't even worry about
Got
it.
3.5 years to prove myself.
Exactly. If I interview 10 residents from your district and ask them, what's the biggest thing Ty Hankerson hasn't fixed yet, what you think they'll say?
I think they would point back to the thing that I mentioned before, which is the quality of life. I'm not pleased with where we are.
What about the sewer issue? You got that sewer issue, right? South Queens, where they be flooding. Is that you?
So, I mean, we have flooding in District 28,
Right.
but it is more prevalent in some of the
Natasha.
neighboring districts. Yeah,
It's
they get it
Natasha's.
real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get it as bad.
We got to change the. Natasha was saying something about infrastructure.
It's the infrastructure. And I'll give, the Deputy Speaker, Natasha, as well as the Board President, Donovan.
As fate will have it, I interviewed Natasha 2 weeks before she became
Wow.
Deputy Speaker. I'm like, damn. She went to high school with my daughter.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Natasha's my big sister. I will say, in Donovan Richards, the borough president, he has put millions of dollars into infrastructure for Queens, and so a lot of those projects, some have started, some will be starting, because he represents, along with Councilwoman Sylvina Brooks Powers, another big sister. He represented Far Rockaway, and those areas, they flood real bad.
Yes.
And so I think having someone in the BP seat who knows that well and is acquainted with that, we get the resources that we need to fix that issue.
Yeah, he was on the corner, and he definitely was talking about far right.
He's like family. He tells this story about his best friend that was killed. That was my cousin.
Really?
So Donovan, the BP, that's family.
He spoke about that on Corey's Corner. Wow. When your first term comes to an end, what do you want the people of District 28 to say? Ty Hankerson accomplished not what you promised, but what you actually delivered.
I would want them to say that he fought tooth and nail for us, and we see the results thereof. That is what I would want them to say.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, before we wrap, is there anything you'd like to share that we haven't covered? You got anything special coming up? Any big projects?
Okay. You made me nervous. You the police. No, so anything else you want to say? No. That's it. We have two big events coming up. That one's going to pass, but this coming August, I've promised when I was running that we would bring culture, highlighting culture back in our district. Southside, we outside. Live music and night market is coming to our district. It was an idea that I had over a year ago, and I had the time to really work on it, and now I'm the councilman. I got the funding to do it. And so we are putting it together August 15th, Baisley Pond Park. We're partnering with Soapbox Presents. They do the stoop sessions out in Harlem. We're partnering with Black Resource Network. They're bringing out the vendors. And we're also partnering with City Parks Foundation, Summer Stage. And we are going to do a big festival. Come out, enjoy. This is really what I believe community is about.
I love it. Let the people know where they can find you. Reach out to your city council. Yeah,
you can find me. You can follow me at Ty Hankerson. But you can find our office in Rochdale Village in the mall. And we also have an office on the west side of our district in South Ozone Park on 111 and 122nd Street. Either one of those offices, we are open in the summertime from 10 to 4, but in the fall and the winter, we are open from 10 to 6 p.m. and then Wednesdays all the way to 7 p.m. and then every first Saturday, because we have to be accessible for working people as well. So.
Okay, Councilmember Hankerson, we appreciate your willingness to share not only your accomplishment, but also your perspective on the challenges facing District 28 in Queens, New York. From growing up in Southeast Queens to organizing in your community, serving behind the scenes in City Hall, and now representing the Great 28 in New York City Council, your journey reflects a commitment to public service and community leadership. I want to personally tell you that I really, really am honored to have you on the show. I'm really proud of you, young man, and I've seen you around for years. And any event I go to in Queens, like the Democratic Club, you there, you at our foundation, Angels Heart, you're everywhere. And that's rare, man. You remind me of Jamani Williams. Jamani Williams was a freshman city council member when I was a CO of the 6-7 precinct. He was a pain in my fucking ass. And he knows it. He was actually my first guest.
Wow.
Jamani was the first guest in New York City public advocate. But he was everywhere. And I was like, man, that guy's going places. Now he's the public advocate. Sure. I'm pretty sure there's some bigger shoes for you to fill, even though y'all politicians say, no, I just want to do this.
I just want to do my job.
I just want to do my job. But I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you again for pulling up to Corey's Corner.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate you. For our listeners, if you found value in today's episode, please like, subscribe, and share. This has been another episode of Corey's Corner. Until the next time, keep pushing, keep grinding, and always remember, it's not about where you start. It's always about where you finish. I'm Corey Pegues, and I always keep it right, not real. Peace.
Once a cop, let it knock, yeah. I for one thing we should celebrate redemption instead of condemning it. Corey Pegues, up, talking truth, bruh. Check it out. Once a cop.